What's up, world? It's your boy Drew Morrissey here for How to Rap live from Mexico. Yes, we're gonna go into the studio in a second, but we had to evade the cluster you know what that is the United States. We're gonna guide you through an age-old frustration that beginning and aspiring rappers have, and you might be one of them. That is what to rap about. So we're going to talk about what to rap about and give you 3 ways to write better rap lyrics. And so what we've done is gone through the top 100 rap songs of all time, ranked by a Google search, and we found the patterns and commonalities that the best rap verses have in common in order to give you ideas that are not just theories or opinions, but based on real life GOAT level rappers, so that the ideas that you get after watching this video are based on the best rappers of all time. So if you're struggling thinking what to rap about, want ideas to write better raps, then this is the video for you.
If this is your first time watching us, be sure to subscribe with notifications because we drop weekly videos on how to write better raps, how to be a better rapper, and many other rap tips. And if you want to take your rap songwriting as a whole to a professional level, check out our free video course, The Top 20 Songwriting Secrets of Professional Rappers, by clicking the first link in the video description box below. The first overarching concept you should understand before we delve into the actual specifics of what to rap about is understand that you can rap many ways about the exact same thing. Put another way, you can use different points of view, such as first person, second person, and third person, different timelines, such as past, present, and future tense, and different emotional reactions, such as fear, excitement, anger, etc., to describe the exact same event, environment, or emotion itself. So for example, let's use a really simple, silly example so that in a minute when we start using those GOAT level rap examples, it'll be really clear. Let's say that I'm looking at a clock in my room and I want to describe it in a rap. I could describe the clock in first person present tense, I'm watching the clock. First person past tense, I watched the clock. Or second person future tense, you're gonna be watching the clock, and so on. Note, even by now, the way you choose your tenses can affect the feeling of the way you're describing the clock. Second person future tense sounds a little bit more commanding. You're gonna be watching the clock, right? Then first person present tense, which sounds a little bit more personal and relaxed. I'm watching the clock. Anyway, when you not only decide your tenses and viewpoints, but add some sort of emotion on top of it, that's when the magic really happens. So let's say I've decided to use first person present tense to describe the clock, but I want to add emotion like fear on top of it. So I might start the rap with something like, I'm watching the clock and I feel like my time is running out. Notice how that now adds an emotion of fear or impending danger, and it makes the image of a clock have lyrical meaning. But of course, the emotion doesn't have to be just fear anymore, then the tense has to be present. You can use the emotion of excitement, I'm watching the clock and I can see that it's my time to win. Or the emotion of joy, I'm watching the clock and I see that my hater's time is up, etc. This is important to understand because many of the best rap songs of all time describe similar things such as frustrating circumstances, poverty, succeeding in money or with women. But as you'll see in a second, they all use different tenses, viewpoints, and emotions to describe it. Which brings us to our first vision of what you can rap about. After doing our research, we found that one of the most common ways to start a great rap song is to have a first-person description of your morals and behaviors. In other words, start by telling me in first person what types of actions you'll take to get what you want out of life, or what kind of behaviors you'll take if somebody crosses the line with you. A great example of this is Tupac's classic track, Hail Mary. The first lines go, I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting. Based on what we've already learned, notice how Pac used first person tense, but more importantly, he described the personal morals and behaviors he'll use when it comes to somebody insulting him or coming at him sideways. Of course, this doesn't always have to be a threat or something gangster. In the first track off of Nas's classic album Illmatic, he starts the song NY State of Mind by saying, Rappers a monkey flipping with the funky rhythm. I be kicking, musician, inflicting composition of pain. So even though Nas is using the exact same present tense and first person viewpoint, because he's speaking about his lyrical and rhythmic ability, it's not nearly as aggressive as Pac's choice of description. Just to make this even more clear, let's use another well-known example, but with a different tense and totally different emotion. The real Slim Shady uses the same description of behaviors and emotions as the previous examples, but decides to start with a second person description. Y'all act like you never seen a white person before. Jaws all on the floor, like Pam, like Tommy just burst in the door, started whipping her what, worse than before? Notice how by starting in second person, he grabs more attention to the track by speaking directly to the listeners and fan base. Now, if you're enjoying what you've learned so far, be sure to hit that like button to help push this info out to more aspiring rappers. Now, much like many of the greatest rappers of all time, MCs like Eminem don't just limit themselves to one moral framework or emotion in a song. Another way to think of what to rap about is describing frustrating circumstances like Shady did on his sardonic anthem, Cleaning Out My Closet. Have you ever been hated or discriminated against? I have. I've been protested and demonstrated against. Picket signs for my wicked rhymes. Look at the times. In this case, Shady is describing the frustrating circumstances of becoming a megastar while still being hated on for having controversial stances on the state of the world. Now, frustrating circumstances don't have to be limited to just people doubting you or second person or anything like that. Let's check out how 50 Cent starts Hate It or Love It by describing what we would assume is an admission his mom was gay and he didn't know how to process it. By the way, before we start, until this video, I never realized that both 50 Cent and Jay-Z have revealed their mom's sexual orientation on a rap song. Anyway, 50 Cent tells us, coming up I was confused, my mama kissing a girl. Confusion occurs coming up in the cold world. Daddy ain't around, probably out committing felonies. My favorite rapper used to sing, check out my melody. 50 Cent is just giving us a first-person past tense description of frustrating circumstances, which is an extremely common way to know what to rap about. Now, even when describing those frustrating circumstances though, you don't have to make it all negative or sad. Check out how Jay-Z introduces the concept of his hard knock life, quickly juxtaposing the frustrating circumstances of poverty while also quickly bringing us up to his present success. From standing on the corners bopping, to dropping some of the hottest cars New York has ever seen, from dropping some of the hottest verses rappers ever heard, from the dope spot with the smoke fleeing the scene. So we see here that Jay-Z is choosing to describe both frustrating circumstances while giving a sign for hope that things will get better. Now, you don't even need to feel like you have to directly describe the emotion you're feeling or some kind of literal description of the circumstances you're in. Sometimes the best way to describe your mentality and morals is to describe a metaphorical illustration of what you're seeing as a representation of how you think and what kind of person you are. So look at how Dr. Dre starts his anthem, Still Dre, interestingly written by none other than Jay-Z himself. It's still Dre Day, brother, AK brother, though I've grown a lot, can't keep it home a lot. Cause I frequent the spots that I'm known to rock, you hear the bass from the trunk when I'm on the block. Now, notice how by describing the image of the bass in his system on the block, we kind of already know what type of dude Dre is. He's a boss, he's well known, he's allowed to play his stuff louder than anybody else because when you're as famous and respected as DRE, you can play your music as loud as you want. Little specific descriptions of the cars you drive, the clothes you wear, or your physical characteristics can completely explode how lyrical you are to your audiences. One of the most iconic examples of this is Eminem's Lose Yourself, where he starts the track, his palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already, mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. Now, it seems like everybody on the planet, including parents themselves, can quote this song, but the ability to reproduce it is a different art. So are you able to think of specific physiological descriptions of what emotions you want to illustrate? Rather than just saying he's scared to get on stage, can you do it like Shady and describe his sweaty palms, his knees shaking, etc.? When you practice doing this more often, you will become more skilled as a rapper and impress more people with your rapping ability. So, if you get nothing else out of this video, I hope you understand that when you're struggling of thinking what to rap about, it's less about you knowing what to rap about, because we all have interesting lives and things that happen to us that people relate with. It's more of a question of how to rap about it that should concern you. Take something simple like a clock or being scared to get on stage, and then bring it to life by focusing on the viewpoint, the timeline, the specifics of what that looks like to you as a unique individual, and you will become a much better rapper. Now, I want to see you in the comments, all right? Tell me one thing after watching this video that you can rap about and describe it in one of the ways that we described. Like, you could use first person present tense, you could use second person past tense. Like, what did you get out of this video? I love reading the comments, heart in the comments. Y'all know I'm into that. So I want to see you in the comments. What are you going to rap about? Describe the way that you're going to do it based on what you learned today. I've been your host, Drew Morrissey, live from Mexico. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.